Welcome back to another Starcraft 2 campaign commentary walkthrough. As always, I'm Tyler, and today I'll be showing you how to do the Moebius factor on Brutal. It's a pretty effective strategy, although it's not very groundbreaking, pretty straightforward. It is marginally refined and it should help you out. I'll also be picking up the Brutalist kill, so you can go ahead and get the extra Zerg research from that. Now, as you can see here, I'm doing my fairly standard campaign opening, pumping SCVs to minerals, getting a reactor for my Marine Medic, pretty reliable combination, and a bunker at the front of the base choke point, usually on the high ground. But here, I'm actually going to, I'm going to check and make sure these Marines are going to be alright, because I forgot about that. Another helpful thing about the bunker, you can toss units in it quickly. So I'm going to heal these up. I think I'm going to leave them here, and I'm going to go around and get the first data core kill. And also a Goliath and a few War Pigs from the NPC event. Or actually, I'm loading up my Marines, okay. But you can see I'm still pumping out SCVs. I'm still, I'm about to start getting some, ooh, gotta watch out for that corruptor, some medics and Marines out of my barracks. And my late game strategy is to get a few tanks. I'm going to leave one or two sieged up by my base to help out with defense, and I'm going to be leapfrogging with the other handful I take with me to go ahead and pick up the data cores. So I'm just here mopping up, nothing standard, pretty much everybody could handle this. First data core kill. And I'm still pumping out SCVs, supply blocked, well, kind of, I'm somewhat ahead of it, but still a little bit wrong. One thing to point out, you probably don't want to queue up, or it's not probably don't, you don't want to queue up a lot of units from one building, because while your units are waiting to be produced, it's minerals that are kind of in like a limbo land. They're not immediately being deployed on the battlefield, and you can't use them for other things. So going ahead and being a bit more disciplined about only having one or two units queued up can help out a ton. So I will be going for the Hercules this mission. If you haven't picked it up and got the Predator, can't blame you. It's a sweet unit, although not quite effective. The Hercules, this is the first time I've ever really relied on it for a mission. It can hold, I think, like 2 or 3 trillion units. Realistically, more towards like 255 like unit spaces, but it's still pretty insane. It's got a ton of hit points. It can rapidly deploy units right onto the battlefield, and if it gets shot down, units will land on the ground a little bit weakened, but they'll still be there. So right here I'm doing a very poor thing and dropping my Goliath. Ooh, I picked it up. Right into the middle of a combat field. So pretty much I was just trying to get it killed. Getting 2 medics out of my barracks, and I'm already on my way to getting a fusion core for my starport that has a tech lab, so I can go ahead and make that Hercules. Because the only downside to the Hercules, comparing it to the medevac, is it can't heal. But if you go that Marine medic composition, you'll be covered there. So it's pretty robust. And although there isn't a lot of opportunity to use it in the campaign, it's still great to use when you finally get those few chances to use it. Now, I'm sure this strategy may not be the fastest. It's still pretty quick. It only took me 14 minutes or so to go ahead and take care of the entire level. The advantage is it's really stable. I did this is one of the first missions I just completely blew through my first playthrough. And not just like getting it done the first time through, but I did it and I completely got through, and it felt really stable at the end. Like my base wasn't burning on fire, and it wasn't like a base race like right to the finish. I got it done, and it was pretty stable, pretty effective, and it felt like I could have gone on for quite a bit longer if need be. I think this particular example, though, is the contrast to that. I think my base is in not very good shape by the end of the video. But I am moving out. I'm going to go ahead and pick up this Marine, or War Pig rather, I think. Yeah, it looks like a War Pig. And a Goliath. And I'm just going to very calmly, casually, and slowly take out this little alleyway. There's a Corruptor that comes by and hits a medevac, or a Mutalist. Nope, Mutas and Corruptors. So keep your medevacs kind of safe, because while the Hercules is better in almost every aspect, they still can heal, and having extra healing people, or healing ships, for that matter, is always nice to have. No reason to let something die if you don't have to. But while I've been talking over there, I realized my base is under attack. So I'm running my my war pigs, my marines, whatever they may be, into the bunker, stemming them up, and taking care of that. And here I call down my siege tanks. And for anyone who doesn't know, if you're going to be getting siege tanks just for base defense, it's pretty much a better choice to go ahead and forego the siege tank from your factory and go ahead and get the mercenary version, because they hit harder, they live longer, and there's no reason to go ahead and get a tech lab, a bonus tech lab that you're not going to need on that factory if you're just going to be getting, 2 or 3 or maybe 4 siege tanks. For whatever reason. If you're going mass siege tank, obviously, the factory is the way to go, because the mercenary factory, building, depot, whatever you want to call it, can't support a number like that. But it is pretty much a better idea to go ahead and get them from the mercenary tavern if you're using them solely for base defense. So right about now, I'm about ready to move out and take care of the first real data core that matters, and not like one of the fake facade ones. Getting myself supply blocked again, because it would just be professional if I avoided that and played smart, I'm going to be taking one of my siege tanks because it's always nice to have that, and I'm going to be moving on to the first real data core. Now I will add that if you don't have the shaped charge upgrade that does reduced friendly fire damage by 75%, I would be very hesitant to bring a siege tank with me with the composition, the army composition that I have right now. It's largely infantry bio-based, and that siege tank splash would just be a killer, literally, if I didn't have that shaped charge. It's one of the most valuable upgrades, I think, and I'm sure a lot of people will recognize that, but if you haven't gotten it yet, it's really handy to have, because without it, the only really effective use for a siege tank is right there, because any splash damage that the siege tank fires will be 100% without the upgrade, and it'll hit your bunker, which is okay. But if you're moving out into the field, you probably won't have bunkers, and you have a high chance of doing a lot of splash damage to your own infantry. While it's not absolutely 100% vital that you have that upgrade, it makes things a lot easier, and it completely, well, not completely eliminates, but greatly reduces the, oh shoot, I kind of killed myself moment. So go ahead and do that. And I noticed on some of the videos, I've been getting questions like, how do you do the queue up command? Like, how do you have a bunch of units perform orders in sequence without having to tell them at each point? And the way to do that is you hold down shift, and then you go ahead and click and tell your units to do whatever, and when you're done, you take your hand off shift, or finger rather, and that's pretty much it. So as you can see here, I'm pretty much making an effective wall. I have marines and medics, which are great against everything but a baneling, pretty much, or ultra, and they're great against air too, but I brought a couple of Goliath with me, really for fun. There's no real need for them. They're great against air and ground. If you have that upgrade that allows them to shoot both at the same time, they're pretty flexible, and I wanted to use them. I felt like I haven't used them a lot this campaign walkthrough, and I want to give them a little love, because they are a fun unit. I'm a big fan of them. But as you can see here, I pretty much waltzed right through that base. I took minimal casualties. I wasn't keeping track, but hardly any went down, which is always good. You want to be effective like that and not have, a big shutout, or, win the victory or win the battle by a small margin of victory. You want to have a large margin of victory, because winning and losing is one thing. Oh, no, let the siege tank go down. Takes it out. If you have the orbital command center when you're doing this mission, or when an event like that occurs where your siege tank nearly dies, drop a mule, just like right out here. You can go ahead and do it. There's no restriction on the range a mule can be dropped, although I think it's a little ridiculous that there isn't. But that point aside, go ahead and do it, because I could repair that siege tank right to full. I could repair that Goliath, the one in the red, and I could probably take care of a few other minor repairs on my mech that should be done for 50 energy, and minerals of course, but 50 energy. And like I said earlier, my base doesn't do too well towards the end of the mission, largely because I remove all my base defenses, and I well, the siege tank specifically, but I didn't really need to do that. You can win this mission very easily, effectively, pretty soundly, if you leave one siege tank at home. You don't have to take it with you. There's no real dire need of that. Just a little food for thought right there. And even though it would be a siege tank that I left behind, and this attack that kind of did a big amount of damage to my base is largely air, it still never hurts to have. I think, am I going to be barely in range of the Broodlord? I think I will. Gotta do a little bit of micro, fun stuff like that. But, yeah, I'm alright. But still not as clean as I'd like it to be. Generally when your buildings are on fire, there's something you could have improved. So I'm going to make sure that problem... dang, I lost a building. I'm going to try and make sure the problem never happens again, so I'm going to build up a few missile turrets, which won't do much help against Broodlords because they're outranged pretty soundly. But build bunkers and pretty much be in a little better position, a little safer position. Kind of fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Except I continually get fooled, so I don't know why I'm taking that to heart. But anyways, am I building an expo here? Not sure. But I'm doing something here. I don't think you have to do it, but I have all my transport ships filled up. You can see that Hercules just absorbed like a huge mass of units, probably around I'd say 80 food, 90 food worth of units, which is a tremendous amount for one single thing to have. You can pretty much win a decisive victory with that one ship. But I'm going out. I won't be getting all the abandoned, or not abandoned, but troops in distress on top of buildings. I didn't really feel the need for it, but I am on my way to take care of the Brutalist, because a lot of people have been asking, how to get the Brutalist, and it's pretty simple. Just get yourself in a good position, and when you have a big army in a few moments, go kill it. And there we go. Wasn't too bad. Pretty effective win, and I'm off. Although I might have lost a medevac for... Yep, definitely did, because units are on the ground that normally wouldn't be on the ground. So I lost that. If you want to backstep up and figure out how I lost it so it doesn't happen to you, you probably should. But more than likely it was just careless actions. So right here I'm sitting in my Hercules to absorb the damage, because it's a bigger ship. It can take that kind of beatings, or that kind of beating, and it's allowing my medevac, which is already pretty weak in health, but just weak in structure, a chance to get by much more safely. Here's what I was talking about earlier, how my base it gets in bad shape. It could be better off, is my point. But at this point in the game, the mission is pretty much done. I have 2 mercenary siege tanks, a great deal of marines and medics, and a few Goliath against an enemy that's very much spread out, and I'm right where I need to be. I can move those siege tanks up just like 7, 8 range, and this game is over. But I'm only going to move 1 up, so I have like an effective... Whoops, I guess I'm moving both up. But I didn't need to do that, because that 1 in back could have been like a secondary line of defense and got shots in on units that were around my other siege tank. Because if the siege tank's going down, you might as well have another siege tank. Pelt it with damage and get all that nice juicy splash damage. So I built an expo there for no reason. My base is in shambles, maybe, that might be what I call it. But the mission's about to be done. So this has been a campaign walkthrough. Once again, I'm Tyler, and I hope you enjoyed it. Good luck and have fun on your own attempt to get it done.
Confirmed. The final data core has been destroyed. We should evacuate immediately.
All right, Doctor. You want to tell me why the